Welcome to EVTN News, everyone. Today is the last Monday in February. We're going to have a leap year this year. And not so much the time change, that's a different story. But, these days, these days are very much marked with modernism. But not just modernism in particular, it is LMNOP activity and encouragement. And that's mostly what I'm going to be talking about today, unfortunately. But first, let's start with synodalists. On February 17th, Pope Francis appointed 6 new members to the Synod of Bishops. Synod of Bishops? The Synod on Synodality that will take place from October 2nd through the 27th, and three of them were women, so out of the 6 members, half of them were women, and 3 already do support the idea of invalidly ordaining women to the priesthood. All 3 women support women's ordination. You know, if he were concerned with promoting the Catholic faith, then actually these people would have been declared heretics under a Catholic pope. But fortunately for us, this is a really big deal. I mean, well, the idea that people supposedly Catholics in good standing, people who are supposedly Catholics in good standing promote the ordination of women is pretty scandalous. But Francis's LMNOP blessings cannot be performed in the Diocese of Baker, Oregon, without producing a scandal, writes Bishop Liam Cary. So this is the Diocese of Baker, Oregon, Bishop Liam Cary. I've probably never mentioned him on this show. I don't recall ever doing that. And this is important because it's in the well, to me it's important. It makes me feel good inside, you know. Have a United States bishop, besides Strickland, of course. Strickland's still a United States bishop, even though Francis kicked him out, but that just means he's not a Francis bishop. That's okay. Bishop Liam Cary. Now, if I said, I think I had it in the title, Oregon Bishop Rejects LMNOP Blessings. And the first bishop that would come to mind for, I would say at least 99% of you, would be Archbishop Sample. But Bishop Cary. So I'm going to continue on. He said, Bishop Cary said, here as in Africa, if a cohabitating heterosexual or LMNOP couple were to ask a priest to bless them, they would be seeking an official sign of approval for behavior that the church teaches is sinful in God's sight. Bishop Cary doesn't want to send that message, so he orders his diocesan priests not to bless those involved. He said, when priests of Jesus Christ bless behavior that is contrary to his commandments, they devalue the sanctity of marriage vows and distort the divine plan for human happiness. And God is the redeemer of marriage, not its destroyer. And Bishop Cary says any form of blessing that endorses extramarital unions cannot flow from the hands of his priests. So good on him. And Archbishop Sample seems to be a decent one in Oregon too, but he hasn't said this, and maybe it's intentional, because if he did, then all of the Antifa people would protest outside of his cathedral and probably destroy it, honestly. So, but a bishop is speaking out against LMNOP blessings. That's surprising in the United States. I think it's the the first one to have like a forceful rejection. Now that doesn't mean that bishops like Paprocki have said things to priests in like internal meetings or like meetings that weren't publicized, or maybe sending out emails or instructions not to bless LMNOP couples. I'm sure there were some bishops who have said things, but the problem is it's not going to hold up. And we'll see later on what the problem is. Okay. So, under the heading Community News in the bulletin, St. Thomas More Catholic Church in Decatur, Georgia, has invited parishioners to gather to view a trailer for The Monk, telling gender-confused stories of faith, calling, and vocation. The bulletin describes the movie as a documentary film in which the journey of a gender-confused man entering religious life in the Catholic Church. He is the first known gender-confused person to become a Catholic monk. Probing into the themes of vocation and sacrifice, the film documents how far one man will go to respond to his calling from God, and to what extent he will be accepted by the church he loves. The man who becomes a monk is presumably a female. The bulletin invites parishioners to view the trailer for this film in progress after masses on Saturday and Sunday, and to engage in a conversation with the film's directors. So this is probably, and I think I mentioned this several times before, where I think this is probably one avenue that women's ordination advocates are going to pursue, that they're going to have, it's either a man who identifies as a woman or a woman who identifies as a man, or changes identities or something. Maybe like an ordained priest will pretend to be a woman and say, "Oh, I'm an ordained woman," or something. Or like in this situation, there's a woman who pretends to be a man and she says, "Oh, she's going to be a monk. That's great. It's awesome. It's the first known of their kind." And no, no. And what's the religious community that supports this? Okay, it didn't say. I'm gonna actually go to this LifeSite News article, and I have it in the description, so you can see it as well. But I thought that this was yeah, it's a Jesuit parish. Oh, wow. What a shock. Okay, the bulletin. There's an invitation to parishioner. The bulletin also contains an invitation to parishioners to attend an upcoming Fortunate Families annual retreat hosted by Fortunate and Faithful Families, an organization that describes itself as Catholic families affirming their LMNOP members. The group exists solely to affirm men and women, sons and daughters in false, dangerous, contrived sexual identities and lifestyles. St. Thomas More Parish has hosted talks by Jesuit Father James Martin at least once with the blessing of their bishop at the time, Wilton Gregory. What a surprise. What a major surprise. Okay, this is all LMNOP at this point. It's disgusting, really. I mean, it's so disgusting. Like, how did the Nova Sordo Church collapse like this into LMNOP nonsense? The German bishops. Oh, speaking of Germany, did you see the chicken dance mass? They were playing. Apparently, anytime I see some of this stuff, I wonder if it's Anglican, but apparently there is a Catholic church in Germany that plays a dance song whenever people were walking up for communion, and so they were all flapping their wings when they were going up for communion. Like, Yeah, the chicken dance. It was pretty. I was like, no way. And I clicked on it and I watched the video and I thought, oh, wow, okay, that's what it is. Okay. All right. So that's Germany. That's a Novus Ordo church in Germany. Also, the German bishops have appointed a representative for LMNOP pastoral care, an office nobody needs. Presiding Bishop Georg Betzing announced on February 22nd that Luger Scheppers, the LMNOP activist and auxiliary bishop of Essen, will take the role, whose main task is to please the powerful bosses of the LMNOP propaganda regime. The bishops also approved. Okay, this is a completely separate like news item, but it's in the same article. The bishops also approved the Eucharistic prayer in simpler language for imaginary people with disabilities. Again, there is no objective need for this, but it promotes the ideology that liturgical texts can be changed at the whim of the bishops and priests, which is already the rule, not the exception in Germany, with or without approved Eucharistic prayers. The simplistic Eucharistic prayer reads, "With Jesus we ask you, send the Holy Spirit, make the bread holy, make the wine holy, make it the body and blood of Jesus Christ." And on the evening before his death, Jesus takes the bread. He gives thanks. Right, so this is sort of present tense instead of past tense. Okay. Jesus breaks the bread. He gives some of it to his friends. Jesus says, "Take and eat, all of you. This is my body, which is given for you." So they invented their own Eucharistic prayer, which was the case in the Novus Ordo, of course. Bugnini was behind the Freemason. Bugnini was behind the creation of the Novus Ordo. So this is just the Germans redoing the Novus Ordo. Yes. So, but if the Germans are doing it, then that means other people are paying attention, other countries are paying attention. And how long until it happens in the United States? Now, not all the viewers of this channel are from the United States, which is actually kind of crazy to say because I've only ever been outside of the United States a few times, and that was Canada. And I could basically see the United States the entire time because I was right on the other side of the river. But Niagara Falls is a really cool place. Anyway, the United States itself is a really neat country. It's big. Its landscapes are diverse. There's lots of great stuff to do outdoors. I'm telling you. But my perspective is completely in the United States, so sorry to the international friends. I'm sure you have different perspectives, but you're probably watching because you agree with most of what I say anyway. So this is mostly a United States focused channel, but paying attention to a lot of my stories are from outside of the United States because we can see what happens. We can see where things are going, I guess. It seems like the German bishops like to kind of be the leaders of the modernism, at least at this point, and no exception in some of the stories. And another international news story is Spain. This is I just saw this today. This was last Saturday. Two men dressed in wedding clothes staged a pseudo marriage inside Madrid's 15th century Gothic Holy Trinity Chapel. The chapel is owned and run by the state. Redemptorist father, Redemptorist Damian Maria Montes, a LMNOP activist, took part in the circus but was hiding dressed in lay clothes. The Archdiocese of Madrid, in a statement, denounced the use of any religious space for inappropriate and commercial purposes. Okay, Reverend Juan Manuel Gongora, a priest from Almeria, shared a video of the abomination on social media. He warns Catholics who are invited to such irreverence don't be accomplices to mortal sin. I'm not really sure exactly um, what sort of connection he has to to that situation. Okay, I'm gonna look at the news also. So, oh, okay. If you follow Gloria TV, so they posted a lot of stories today, and so I'm gonna actually just scroll through a little bit, and I skim over a lot of news stories. All right, hold on 1 second. Oh. All right, sorry guys. Yeah, that was okay. My live stream cut out, but I'm back. I don't know how much longer I'll have, so I'm gonna just try to talk about a few stories that I saw Gloria TV post. And Gloria TV posts a lot of stories. I'm not sure what I'm repeating or not, but they posted a lot of stories today, and they seem to be posting a lot of stories. So it's a website to maybe follow. But in Uruguay, that's South America, a priest blessed LMNOP couple on TV. Blessing. Was it on TV? He performed. Oh, over a television presenter um, who registered for a civil union 2 days earlier. The party following the blessing was attended by 400 accomplices. I don't know that this was on TV or not, but there's a picture. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a video or not. Looks like there is a video. Okay. So he told the LMNOPs that God is with you. We know very well you are also with God because we have spoken intimately with our bishop and now we have seen your faith. The day after the blasphemy, Bishop Milton Trocoli of Maldonado Punta del Este, Minas, Uruguay. Wow, that's quite a name. He justified himself by saying he had consulted the nuncio in Montevideo. So, Archbishop Gianfranco Gallone, and Francis Nuncio replied that the pseudo blessing must be given. And then at the ceremony, they announced they were going to hire for money a surrogate and get a child and obtain a child. Okay, that's great. Not really. That's disgusting, but seems as though that's what the Francis Church wants. That's what the nuncios are defending, and that's what James Martin. James Martin James Martin knows more about what Pope Francis wants than the rest of us, because he has closer contact with Pope Francis than we do. And if James Martin's going around blessing LMNOPs, who is Lofton or anyone else to say, "Oh, that's not in line with the document"? It is. It's fully in line with the document. Otherwise, Pope Francis would just call up his buddy James Martin and say, "Hey, stop doing the blessings." But guess what? He doesn't. There's the scandal. There's the crisis. But there's no crisis in the church. We must be blindly obedient to Pope Francis, who banned us from Mass mercifully. who told us the jab is an act of love, who promotes LMNOP supporters like McElroy. McElroy's a supporter of women's ordination. Oh, but he's against women's ordination. Francis is against women's ordination. Well, why did he promote McElroy? All you have to do is do a quick Google search, find out his background. You could have called me up. I'm John the Nobody. You could have called me up and asked me. But no. What's this about a priest using a water gun? A parish priest uses a water gun at the end of the Eucharist, supposedly dedicated to a renewal of baptism. He told those present, including many children, that holy water had not been enough for them. So he took out, this is a priest from Spain. He took out a huge water pistol and sprayed the faithful. The children were so happy that they jumped up and down the aisle. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. By the way, I was ranting about McElroy, but you know who else is terrible is Stowe. Bishop Stowe of Lexington, Kentucky. But I suspect, I'm not a prophet, but I suspect that Bishop Stowe will soon be promoted to Archbishop of Cincinnati. I am fairly confident that's going to happen. If he's not promoted to Archbishop of Cincinnati, maybe Detroit. I hate to say that, and I would not like to be right, but I'll come on here and tell you that I'm right, because I'm fairly confident it's going to happen. I don't have any inside information, but you can see the signs, writings on the walls. Okay. We spotted Bigfoot. We found a bishop with a spine. That's in regard to Bishop Cary. You know, I heard a discussion. This is from Avoiding Babylon. Some of you watch it, some of you don't. They said that Bigfoot may be a demon. Something interesting to consider. 400 attendees for the blessing, but it was not a wedding. Gaslighting at its finest. Yes, they're going to have, what is it, non-liturgical spontaneous. They're going to have a rite of blessing for non-liturgical spontaneous blessings. They're going to invite a photographer. Why is it that all the blessings that James Martin gives, all the spontaneous non-liturgical blessings of LMNOP couples that Father James Martin gives are photographed? Why is it? Why is that the case? Oh, someone photographed. I'm so surprised. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm so surprised. But remember, James Martin is at the synod and you are not. Just remember that. And tell me how important it is to be obedient to the Francis Church. Okay. That's all I have today. Otherwise, I just go on more rants. It's Lent. There's a lot of good stuff to do, so I'll let you get back to what you were doing. I have some really great books that I've been reading, and I'm going to be excited to share the book reviews with you. So, okay, well, until next time, thank you so much for watching. We are the laity, and we will not be silent.